Hello everyone, MeanSpeed here with another video. First of all, I just want to say hopefully you guys had a good Christmas if you celebrate it, or if you don't, then hopefully you had a good holiday, and also Happy New Year to you guys. I'm looking forward to what's in store for my channel this year, and to the future of games that I cover like BFH and Renegade Line as well this year. So in this video I'm going to go over the most recent update to Rising Hub, which added some new weapons, which include some old returning pistols and also some new stolen versions of weapons. Starting with the pistols first, which are actually really old pistols from 2008. Now the backstory is this started out with Rendell, one of the staff members at Rising Hub, in the Discord, and he was talking about the best weapon in the game with a few other people. There were a lot of sarcastic replies, and then I eventually mentioned these pistols to him, and I sent him an old image I had saved from one of Michael's weapon guides. Now if you don't know, Michael was a community moderator for Battlefield Heroes, and he covered these pistols in a thread of his many years ago, and basically it had an infographic for the pistols with stats such as their damage and range, as well as some other extra information. Now because Rendell had access to the 2008 client, he was actually able to bring these old pistols back, and this is pretty awesome, not only because these might not have been brought back as soon or at all if I hadn't mentioned them to him and told him about them, but also because the chance of anyone watching this video, first of all to have been in that initial beta test when these were available, but also to have remembered using them, is incredibly low. So these are by far the least used weapons in the history of the game in terms of something that actually did get released and was playable normally. So these were only available in the early closed beta tests in 2008, and it's highly unlikely that there's any footage or pictures surrounding these pistols before Michael's picture or Rising Hub's update, because back then footage was in really short supply, not to mention the game was very new back then and there was a bigger focus on the abilities, the only available map and the gameplay. So really, I'd go as far as to say that the start of this year has been the first time we've seen these pistols in action in a proper video, which is really interesting to me. So these pistols were only available for a short while and were only placeholders. They weren't actually used or tested again after 2008, so they weren't available in the 2009 testing, and instead there was just the normal close range pistols. So you might be wondering what's so special about them or what's different. Well, they're close range, but they're semi-auto and fire at a rate of fire similar to the moderate range pistols, so not in bursts like the normal close range pistols. After testing them out for about an hour or so, I basically found them to be incredibly powerful. They outclass the moderate range pistols as of right now, because I'm pretty sure the moderate range pistols aren't updated for the buff they received about a year or so before the game closed. And I think when you're a low level commando with only level 1 stealth and elixir and doing pretty well against higher levels, it says a lot about the weapon and how good it really is. I took 2 of them because a few weapons were also made, a few versions of the weapon were also made and added as well, like stolen versions and super and ubers, and these versions obviously weren't a thing back in the day because stolen and super weapons came out much later. So yeah, like I was saying, these are very powerful, especially when you have 2 of them, and honestly, with the ammo count and extra crit chance of the super and uber versions, you don't really need to bring 2, it seems a bit overkill honestly. But yeah, I really enjoyed playing with these, and it made me enjoy Commando after a while of not playing it. And it's just awesome to see these back in the game after almost an entire decade, which is crazy to think about, I know, but yeah, the game really is this old. So yeah. Moving on, we got new stolen weapons, the stolen tier 1 weapons, and also the pirate pistols, which are another major focus of this update. We now have even more weapon variety, which I've said time and time again that I enjoy and appreciate. I really like the PKM on my Royal Gunner, so it's great for me to be able to use the close range version as well and pair those together. And the tier 1 M249 was actually my most used machine gun on my Gunner back in the day, so it's pretty nice to use it on the national side now as well. And both of these have camo skins that I really like the look of. There's also the tier 1 AK and M16, which are the long range versions, which is cool too, and the tier 1 fast sniper rifles, but I haven't had the chance to use any of those yet, just the machine guns mainly and a bit of one of the SMGs. For the stolen pirate pistols, I actually did get to use them on my gunners for a bit, but I didn't get around to trying dual pirate pistols, which is obviously possible now. But I did see a few commandos using the setup, and from what I've seen, it's pretty strong. But headshots are preferred, of course, and the accuracy in long range is pretty bad because these are the nerfed pirate pistols. The damage is still devastating for headshots though, and I will probably try using 2 of them in a future video, But like I said, I couldn't get around to it because there was a lot of downtime yesterday and servers were offline for a while. So I basically got in as much recording as I could. Still, it's nice to see these, and it probably means we'll get even more stolen weapons in the future, which could make for even more interesting, fun and unique setups that we didn't see or have access to before. So those were the main two parts of this update, but there were a few smaller things as well which caught my attention. I'm going to bring a few of them up here. So there's actually a new game intro screen when you launch the client, which isn't a bad idea. It's another way to remove logos and traces of the Battlefield name, and it's good to know that that part of the game can be changed as well. But I think right now the sound in the intro is way too loud, and I noticed it a lot when I had to keep relaunching the game yesterday because of the disconnects. And yeah, I found myself muting my audio before the game opened and putting it back to normal when I got past it. So yeah, that could definitely be changed. Another small change is that the swear filter got removed. Now this is kind of like a double-edged sword because it means now any words that were censored before when they shouldn't have been can be read, and you don't have to try workarounds, ways to bypass the filter or different words. But obviously now this also means that you can see any insult someone might throw at you, which will obviously annoy and irritate some people. Finally, the Christmas map got a ticket increase from 50 to 75, which I feel was needed because of the map's size. And I mentioned that in my last video about the map as well, so I appreciate that the suggestion was taken and actually used. So yeah guys, that's about it for this update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with most likely a new Renegade Line video.